Welcome back to the Jesus Magnet podcast. I'm Joel with the other host, Joel. How are you doing?
Hey, good. How are you?
And we've got an awesome person, Michelle Heslop.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Thanks for coming on the show and, being bold and sharing your testimony with us. It's quite amazing how far it goes on the unseen.
Yeah.
People click on it and they just need to hear the hope that we have. And, it's just really, really cool that you're coming on and sharing that.
Okay.
So, Michelle, whereabouts are you from?
I'm from sunny Nelson.
In the South Island of New Zealand.
Yes.
Very cool.
It's very beautiful.
And have you lived there? You were born there?
Yeah, born there and been there most of my life.
Yeah. Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And
so we'll just start with you. You're 24, was it?
25.
25. Awesome. So let's just pass the baton over to you where you sort of started to come into contact with Christ, or even a little bit before then. You can just decide where you want to start. I'll pass the baton to you.
Cool, thank you. Well, I was brought up in a Christian home. My parents are, amazing. They're great Christian people. So when I was born, my mum really struggled with postnatal depression. But I was very loved and I had heaps of people supporting me. I got older. I went to school, Nelson Christian Academy as well, and I really struggled with it so much. And I guess I knew that God was there with me, you're quite young, and I guess I talked from things, but so I guess I was just plodding along. I'm not very good at school, so I'm dyslexic, and I didn't find out until I was 16. So it was quite hard being in school. I got to 14 and I just started to play up. I was a competitive runner. I knew God was there. I'd go to church things and go to youth groups. I was quite into it when I was around 10. And then I grew a bit older and I just kind of got in not a good crowd. And we were like those annoying people at youth group, just causing a ruckus. So I was doing that. Then I got sent about 15. I was just playing up so much, but still running, and I was doing really well at that. What do
you mean by playing up?
Playing up. I just kind of wagged school. Also just being really annoying. Just running away from my parents. Drinking. Being
a rascal.
Yeah, exactly. So that was happening. And then I got sent to boarding school. So I went to St. Cuthbert's College, which is in Auckland, Epsom. My grandma paid for me to go because my mum went there as well. It's quite a posh school, so it was quite hard to go into that environment because I'm not academic, or I haven't got, I don't know, and I just kind of quit all sports and just got quite depressed and started to self-harm, so it kind of started then. So I had 2 years of that, and in that time I kind of drifted from God. I just kind of was just like, what's happening? And it was there, but it wasn't really, I wasn't pursuing him in my life fully. Then I came back to Nelson when I was year 13, still really struggling with depression and anxiety. I got into outdoor ed kind of stuff and adventure racing, which I really love. That's definitely my passion. And I just kind of I didn't go to church, or I didn't speak to God during that time. I just avoided him. Then when I was 18, after I finished school, I went to Greymouth, and I was studying outdoor education. And I was there for 4 months. And, when I kind of kept like having my virginity, I just thought, this is going to keep me closer to God. I just feel like it's a very weird thing, but you're kind of like, oh, I'm close. I'm still there with God a little bit.
Yeah.
But I got drunk one night and a guy took advantage. And so I was kind of, I don't even know, I was in a bad space. That was kind of like, it was quite bad, and then it got really bad. So I ended up going back to Nelson and just spending about 4 months in bed. Depression as well. Also not going really to God. And then, what next? Next year I went to study again, so I did adventure tourism. Not really involved in church and things. I tried, just because in the environment it can be quite partying and heaps of like drugs and stuff like that. With the outdoor stuff, I tried to go to church and get involved in that, which I didn't so much, but a little bit. And then the end of that year, I went to Mangaweka, which is up in just above Wellington, and I was doing some rafting. And so I rafted there, and also there's like this little old church, and so I thought I'd go check that out. And I started to go to church there, which was quite good. At the time, I was struggling with anorexia, so I got really underweight, and I felt really good. Like I was like, yeah, I'm getting to know God. Like, you've got my back, kind of thing. Then I went for the second year, and I went to. Oh, that was going good. Started going to church, got a boyfriend, and we started going to a church together, and just life group, and just started to journey and slowly get my identity in Christ. But then I was still struggling with anorexia. So in the end, I kind of got burnt out, just like quite underweight, and I just couldn't really keep my strength up, like climbing. So climbing is my passion. I really loved it. Like, it was just, we did so much of it, and also rafting. But then it got to, I don't know, I had a lot of self-hate, and I was just always so hard on myself, and just being not, really valuing myself. And then I quit course, and I really went downhill. And with God, in that sense, I didn't really have him in my life then. I gained 30 kilos in a year, and I got really down, like quite suicidal. During that time, I had a couple of times just praying because I was at my parents', praying in their kitchen, just like, what is happening, just asking God. And during that time, I was just speaking and praying and singing, and he kind of gave the gift of speaking tongues. So that was,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing, actually. So I was just lying on the floor, just speaking in tongues, I was like, is this actually me speaking in tongues, or I'm just like, how you go in your head and you're like, is this real? Is this, so that was quite cool. Then during that time, I applied for a Girl Called Hope. Has anyone heard of that?
I don't think so.
No.
Can you explain it?
Yeah, so a Girl Called Hope is 6 months residential care up in Auckland, Albany, just for people who are really struggling with eating disorders, self-harm, suicidal thoughts, and stuff. So I applied there, and within, 4 months, I ended up going up there. So it's actually quite a process to get up there. You have to do lots of goals and read books, just because you want to be getting better. They don't just accept someone who's like really unwell and kind of wanting to sit in that space. So I went there, and I felt like I was seeing my identity in Christ slowly. But I guess I was still holding on to that self-hate and doubt. And so I finished the course. It got extended, but then I didn't graduate. And then I kind of just went downhill again. Yeah, it's a long process. And then what happened? I just went back to Nelson for my brother's wedding. I was like, nah, I'm not going. Like, you gain heaps of weight, you don't want to go out or do anything, which is very selfish. You're just stuck in your head, and I wouldn't even go to my brother's wedding. But my friend came down. Oh, sorry, she got me to stay at her house in Nelson, so that was really good. Yeah, so it was really cool. So my brother got married, which it was awesome to see because he was kind of away from God as well. And he went to Australia and just really found his faith in God, and just seeing his growth was amazing.
What was it that he did in Australia?
He was working as an engineer.
Okay.
Yeah, but he kind of had those times of doing night shift and just being in your head, and he just really pursued it. And then he came back to Nelson, but it was just awesome to see how far he came, and then now his wife, they're both Christians, so that's really cool.
So they've been a big part of your journey and as a good example and where to go and things like that.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. I wouldn't say the journey so much, but more just where to go. Yeah. What else after that? Yeah, so we're still with binge eating. I used to binge eat, and also self-harm. That was a thing that I did. So I had that year just kind of sort of working. I really struggled to work. I'm still really depressed. And then what's the next year? Went to the second year. I got into mountain biking, which was awesome because I didn't touch any outdoor stuff for like 3 years because I just didn't have I don't deserve to enjoy stuff I love. So I didn't even get on a mountain bike or run, and just really hating on myself, and not really seeing my identity at all in Christ.
Yeah.
And then so I got into mountain biking, which has been amazing. And I had a lady, Hannah. She was kind of just a really good support. She mountain bikes as well, which was cool. And we just kind of journeyed together. We met up and talked about God, and I was just so stuck. I was like, well, I want to get to know God, but I don't know if I want to give up, self-hate and self-harm and stuff like that. And so with that, she just stepped back because I wasn't wanting to get better or not wanting to see God. So yeah, that happened. That kept going for about a year. And then the start of 2020, after I had been away on a holiday, I was just mountain biking and I couldn't really see properly. And I was like, oh, this is weird. I keep crashing. This is so weird. So I just...
From... you need glasses, or was it foggy? Or
my eyes were shaking side to side, like nystagmus.
Right.
Yeah. So that happened. So I came back from mountain bike ride. I was like, oh, this is a bit weird. It was probably 3 days. I was driving to church because I started going to church, and I got to church and I was like, oh, maybe I should stop driving. So I just kept my car there. Anyway, I went to hospital, sussed it all out. And I ended up getting MS. So that was weird. And through that time in hospital, I just was started talking to God, what is happening? What is this? And really scared. And I just thought, why am I even at hospital? I don't even deserve to be here. I'm just being a bit pathetic, And God, it was nice. And in the night where you couldn't sleep, he was there just really just giving me peace. Yeah, so... Yeah. What else? So, MS, and then...
So how old are you at this point?
24.
24,
Or
okay.
23, 2024.
Yeah, okay. So just in the last 12, 24 months.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so that happened. And then what happened? I got a job. Oh, then COVID hit, actually. So that was a bit of time just to chill out and get used to things. And still not really fully going to God. So I just worked throughout that rest of the year. And me and Hannah have talked about, actually, we started meeting up again, sorry. Because I was my heart was slowly changing. And I was like, I want God, I want to pursue Him. We talked about that, and then we looked into DTSs. I was really keen to come to the Queenstown one.
That's a discipleship training school, if anybody's listening and not sure what the acronym of DTS means. That's with Youth with a Mission, YWAM.
Yeah, I know, thank you for that. So we're looking between Nelson and Queenstown. And just kind of doing life together. I'm still really struggling with self-harm and binge eating and things like that. Then it came to, so this year, 2021, let's go there. I was working as a support worker, and I met this guy, and we started dating, and, just hanging out and things. He ended up moving down to Nelson and doing the builders course. Through
Like an apprenticeship?
No, it was actually so Youth with a Mission, builders school. So
there's one of those?
Yeah.
In Nelson, they pioneered one this past year, so it was the first of its kind.
Yeah.
And just teaching. So it was like teaching about building, so practical skills, and then they did some Bible teaching as well.
Yeah, it was tiny homes.
Yeah.
So they built some for a family and just kind of yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a unique school. Very cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And they're going to
I'll do that.
You would?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
I think they would just work on these tiny homes throughout like the course of the school, so they'd have, I don't know, at least one or maybe a couple of them built.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but there's actually a few guys that are doing the discipleship training school with you, right? Who have done that school and they stayed on.
Yeah, which is so cool.
Yeah, it's been a cool way, like God's used that school to get guys that wouldn't normally necessarily be looking for DTS but are into building and that kind of thing, and then it's like, all right, God really moved in their heart and they want more discipleship, so they continue on with DTS or something else.
Yeah,
it's super cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
awesome.
this guy you were dating, he was doing the builder's course.
Yeah. So
Okay.
just he invited me to come for some dinners, and I just had the idea of, why don't I come to the one in Nelson maybe, or just I want to do a DTS. I wanted to come to Queenstown. And then, so that happened. We just went and met the YWAM staff. We journeyed alongside together. And then it came to like April. I ended up getting a numb leg again when I was tramping. And it ended up for a month. And then...
Your leg was numb for a month.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was that from?
From EMS.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was like, this is not that,
Yeah.
So I got another MRI, and they saw 10 new... So a lesion's kind of... I don't even know how to explain a lesion, sorry. MS means multiple sclerosis, which is lesions on the brain, which affect your feeling and how you walk and how you see. So I had 10 new ones on my brain, which is not good. So then I ended up...
and that was what was causing your vision to shake?
Yeah,
Okay.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the doctor said it's just become quite aggressive, I guess. It's not aggressive MS, but so I ended up going on IV medication. So I get that once a month. So that happened. And I was really tossing up to come to Queenstown. Like I really wanted to come to DTS, and because I used to love the outdoors and to have that space and also get to know God. would have been so amazing. But in the end, I just stayed close to home because it meant that I didn't have to fly up to get medication, stuff like that. So yeah, the DTS has been good. So DTS happened, and then I found I was still quite distant, and not really wanting to I want to get to know God, but just, things holding me back, like self-harm and things like that. And then, so that's about 6 weeks maybe into the course, which I think we're on week 8 now. And then we had lockdown, and during that time my boyfriend broke up with me. So I was just like, oh, what the heck, So just really all over the place, and I have been for a couple of weeks. So that's been quite hard, and still just kind of like I was speaking truth of what God said about me, but I wasn't fully going for Him until last week. We went to Oxford, and I got some prayer, and it was really amazing. He just prayed that I, because I have self-harm a lot, so they just talked about that and suicidal thoughts, and about the plan B. So I didn't say I've got this plan B, I'm going to do this, but I kind of was like, I can die, if I, that was kind of like my backup. And so I was really kind of holding on to that. But I just had prayer over that, and it just lifted off, and when I say lifted off, I just started crying heaps. But it was
the desire to have that as a plan B.
Yeah.
Just removed itself from you. Chains broke.
Yeah, chains broke, which was crazy. I'm not really a person, who's getting prayer and they have like all these crazy things happen to them. I was just getting prayed for, and it was just more, he gave that, got rid of that desire. So that's pretty cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then, so that was only last week. We were in Oxford, which is in the South Island as well. So I guess I'm just journeying it out with him now. Just kind of trying to trust him more, trying to just hear his voice, because I haven't really done that for years. It's really a journey, that's for sure.
Wow. I thought when you were starting to talk about how you would go and your real passion is to go out and to go rock climbing, and to really pioneer like mountains, and that outdoors stuff. And it's interesting that like you've had trial after trial after trial throughout your whole life, right from anorexia, was it? Okay. To self-harm, to suicidal thoughts. And these are constant trials, but I see just listening to you now, I started seeing you climbing these like little hills, and each one got bigger and bigger and bigger. But each time you climbed and you got to the top, and it was this breakthrough each time. So that, and all these people behind you, how my wife, Laura, amazing person. She's very, very similar to you in the sense that she loves her outdoors. She likes rock climbing. And all of that sort of stuff. I cannot keep up.
So good.
And she used to guide people throughout New Zealand. Most of the time they were extremely wealthy Americans would come over, and she would take them around the South Island for maybe 2 weeks to a month. Cool. And they would do these amazing treks like the Milford Sound Great Walk and things like that. And her job is to guide these people that don't know how to do any of this stuff. Without her, they would be totally lost. And the only reason that she's able to do all this stuff is because she has climbed those little mountains and gone bigger and bigger and bigger and triumphed over each trial. and has gotten used to those trials almost. So when in the Bible it talks about Paul, and he's got this thorn in his side, and he prays to the Lord, he prays like a long time, and he goes, Lord, why? I think he prays 3 times. He goes, Lord, why is this thorn still in my side? And Jesus answers him, and he says, my grace is sufficient. So I'm not going to remove it. It's going to be something you'll have to live with, and you're going to actually get stronger from it. And this is going to be something that creates your character. This is going to be something that creates that perseverance. And that's what I really saw when just listening to you, that like your testimony is just constant trials, but also constant triumphs. Mm-hmm. And that's all I can hear and see from it.
Oh, cool.
What do you think, Joel?
Yeah, well, a question for you. How are things with your health at the moment?
With MS? Mm-hmm. They're okay. I do struggle a lot with nerve pain, but they're pretty good. Yeah, no, I'm fine. And I'm trying to be positive because there's so much, people who are way worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you talked about being grateful as well and just like the thankfulness, I loved that. That's so important. And I'm sure that you would know that more intimately than most as well. Definitely. Are you doing a lot of outdoor activities at the moment?
Yeah, like doing heaps of mountain biking. I've only just started to get back into climbing after 4 years.
Okay.
So that's extremely hard and been so heavy. But it's been amazing, actually.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, man, I'm just inspired by the work that God's done in your life, and to be freeing you from those things, especially like the depression, which is quite serious, and just you can see so easily. So take it from me and Joel, we're outsiders here because we can see through your story, okay, the enemy was totally just stripping you of the things you loved. If he could hold you down in bed, and keeping you from doing the things you love, like getting outside and doing those things. And one common phrase that you talked about was like, oh, well, I didn't feel like I deserved this. And man, those are such lies. And it's so awesome to hear you proclaim the truth, and to hear that you're getting back out there and that you are, walking this through. And so, that's just encouraging, I think, for me. I think we can all just try to identify those areas of our life that are, the enemy's really got a lie that's keeping us from, being who God has called us to be. So, I'm quite inspired by you in that way.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a very, very inspiring testimony, for sure.
Yeah, I've got to say, so I've got a sister I haven't mentioned. She's been my total rock, she's been there beside me, just really journeying it with me. She is a Christian as well, and she's a doctor, which is great because she can tell me all about MS stuff, but she's really been able to help me through this and just speak truth into my life as well. So that's so it's good to have people who love you.
No kidding.
Definitely surround yourself with those people, for sure.
Yeah, very good.
Awesome. You're good then? Did you want to share anything else? Any words of wisdom for anybody listening that might be going through anything similar?
I think just carry on. I know you probably hear that a lot, but there is hope. And even if it's going to be for ages, just keep going.
Just keep going. Yeah. Press into God even when you don't want to.
Exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us on the Jesus Magnet. What an incredible story. Very, very powerful testimony. And don't be ashamed to share that. That one has got, I can even think of people that would really, really benefit from listening to that.
Yeah.
Really powerful. Yep. Awesome. Thank you, Michelle.
See ya.
All right. Thanks for listening to the Jesus Magnet, and we'll see you on the next episode.